Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex. Today we're going to be taking a look at Cursed Golf on the Nintendo Switch. Now this one, it's more of a performance review than anything else. No score today as codes, unfortunately. They arrived just the day before release. And this one, it's a game that's going to demand some serious grit to overcome. So with that luck, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals daily. Today I'll be taking you through an overview of the gameplay, how it all works, as well as story, graphics and audio. And let's get started. Remember then, if you are grabbing Cursed Golf, consider using cornershop.gg for instant email delivery eShop credit. You'll actually get 10% off at checkout using code CORNER. It supports the channel directly and you save a little bit of extra cash. Story then and the setup, it's quickly explained in the opening moments of gameplay and it's simple stuff. You are playing a tournament being broadcast on TV, you're about to be crowned the greatest golfer ever. A storm arrives though to ruin your day, and on your final stroke you are struck down by lightning. Now you're stuck in what is Golf Purgatory, forever destined to play 18 holes over and over. We do quickly, however, meet the owner of the local pro shop that's known as Attorney T. He explains overcome the treacherous 18-hole course and return to the living. That is a feat he has attempted but never achieved. Now it's going to be time to golf your way back to life. You can't deny it's unique stuff. It's a good setup for what is a unique spin on a 2D golf formula with its roguelike spin. Gameplay then, and it's relatively simplistic stuff. I'm maybe 3 hours into the game and my best round yet, I've managed to reach hole 5, so do please know the information today, it's based on that early game experience. The idea though, as I said, it's going to be golf your way to the end of each hole here and you'll start with just 5 shots to achieve that in. Golf club wise, it's keeping things simple as well, at least at this juncture, with just 3 clubs. That's going to be a driver for a straight enough distant shot, an iron for a more lobbed effect, and finally a wedge that's going to be intended for short form shots that will typically be used for what is a more strategic play and approach. I was surprised to see the omission of a putter, but generally, given the multi-floor form of these holes, it definitely makes sense. Also, I do wish golf in real life was like this in some ways, because the holes, they are bloody huge, making for what is a forgiving endgame to round out a hole. The game's mechanics then, it's very traditional of the golf genre. Think here, there's a power meter, think back to titles like PGA Tour or the more modern affair, and then there's also an arc which shows you that ball flight path. Where things do get wild here, outside of the fact you'll be going over multiple levels, often left and right, is just the sheer number of obstacles, and even I'd call them assists. Early in the game I've seen teleportation tubes, as some good as some bad, fans that direct our ball, exploding boxes that can create shortcuts, grave sites where the dead they'll grab your ball and cost you a penalty of 1 shot, and then rough which limits the use of a driver, and bunkers which actually restrict you to only the wedge. There is also water as well, but unlike the real sport, there's no penalty or drop here. Rather, you'll lose that shot and attempt it again. Counting down shots, so that is incredibly intense, but thankfully there is ways here to increase that shot count as well, and that will be absolutely essential. The predominant one on course this far, that's going to be what our trophies. These are displayed as both gold and silver. They're almost skeleton looking Oscars. If you hit these though, you can expect plus 2 or 4 shots, and they should absolutely be a part of your strategy when you are analysing the path ahead of you. It's also worth knowing at this point as well, this course, it's run by an evil greenskeeper, and each round is mixing things up. While you will see some repetition, it seems to be using a form of procedural generation while also mixing up the order as well. The only issue I have with this so far, some rounds start off, incredibly simple, others brutal, so it made for a difficulty curve that's somewhat sporadic in a way. If you're thinking as well that shouldn't matter because we reset at 5 shots for each hole, the issue, you have these special ability cards, and I did find sometimes I would use way too many too quickly, and then a couple of holes down the line find myself in bad shape. These cards, though, on the plus side, have some really fun effects. Think changing the direction of the ball mid-flight, adding shots to your stroke count, taking a practice shot, a mulligan, meaning you can reattempt your shot. Maybe you'll equip one which explodes your ball and you get to choose the one of 3 which lies the best. There's even been one that causes the ball to pull a U-turn, and I actually surprisingly really like this one. It's surprising actually how useful it is in this kind of world. They've just been incredibly entertaining, and in the tougher moments you can see they are going to be essential to your success at overcoming this greenskeeper and returning to the living. I'm sure these get more and more creative though with progression, because again, to reiterate, this is all of my impressions of that early game. Navigation of this world then I really like. It's incredibly simple, but it's charming. You'll be driving around in your golf cart from hole to hole. Like any roguelike though, this has multiple paths instead of the usual doorways though. Here the golf course actually separates and you choose the direction you want to go. There's been opportunities here to pick up extra cash, find a loot chest, even bypass some specifically difficult holes. These difficult ones as well, because the entire game so far has been difficult, but these are actually known as cursed. These are represented with skulls, and they're incredibly tough as they impact what you can actually do on the course. I jumped into one, and on my second shot I could actually only shoot left. I was cursed for the next 3 shots, and that pushed for some serious creativity in regards to what step I took next. It also ended up spelling an endgame for me. Along the way then, each round rewards you with cash. This can be spent at the store, and you can pick up new cards to add to your deck, or essentially pick up what are loot boxes throughout that journey. That is in the positive way though. It's a random selection, you choose one, and there's no real world cash involved. Can't lie as well, I enjoyed the risk and reward factor involved with these. You also then at the store have the option to change our lead's outfit should different colour schemes be your thing. Overall though, look, I'm really enjoying it this far. It is incredibly challenging, as you should expect given the roguelike nature of it. But yeah, there's something somewhat relaxing about it at the same time, because you can take your time, you can be strategic as you're planning out that path to success. That element as well, it won't be for everyone either, but you can control the camera explore, and I often opened each hole just looking around for that optimal approach before I even moved ahead with that first shot. I'm sure as well it has a ton of surprises up its sleeve as we do move further and further into the adventure. Right now though, I feel like I'm fighting an uphill battle as I master all of its elements, from ball controller to spin to the special ability cards, which just make a huge impact. You can also fast forward the ball, flight path and animations that play out between shots should you want a bit of a quicker pace to proceedings. Graphically then, I really like the style. It starts with this almost CRT filter to represent the round of golf playing on TV. Once however you reach Purgatory, this is removed and it's an extremely clean and vibrant pixelated style. This world, it's just easy to recognize the different obstacles, but I just more than anything love the chunky sprites and clear indicators for the shots ahead of you. Animations are simpler then, but it matches the retro style that it rocks, and it's optimized well for handheld as well thanks to that oversized, design. Menus then are simple, and the golf course layout and store easy to understand and easy to navigate. Audio finally, that's been a highlight for me this far. While there's no voice acting packed in here and little in the way of sound effects, it embodies the visuals with some almost chiptune effects and music. The latter, that is the highlight. It's incredibly upbeat, almost optimistic, which really makes for a nice background to what is this uphill battle. The only thing I've noticed issue-wise on audio, starting a hole, especially if you use fast forward, the transition between tracks, it can be a little awkward. We are hit with silence for a few seconds, but yeah, that's very much a minor issue, and overall it's just incredibly catchy stuff. It's definitely worth the wait. So overall, at this far in, after these first few hours, I'll be working towards overcoming this cursed course. It's absolutely challenging, and when you think you've mastered this approach type, it seems it's got something more treacherous up its sleeve, but that is exactly what you want. The longevity is absolutely there for me as well, because sure, you can beat the 18 holes, but then you'll want to go back and attempt to do it now in less strokes, because the game, it packs leaderboards as well. Throw in then the charming pixel visuals and soundtrack, and it gets a good balance between sometimes infuriating but also incredibly rewarding. Hopefully this video then today it helped you out in some way. I will have a full review out as time permits, but an afternoon here, it just wasn't enough, and I know this one, many are interested and they just want to get a general idea of what it's all about. Also, my final note on this, it's run flawlessly this far. There's no frame rate issues, no crashes, just you, the course, and a greenskeeper who no doubt you will absolutely grow to hate. Let me know though in the comments, will you be picking this one up then? And with that, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals near daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.